Welcome to Vantage Technology webinar. Today we are covering very interesting topic, fundamental understanding of MCP, Model Context Protocol. In this session, we will cover the core principle and uncover the why MCP is hot topic in AI innovation. We will also explore the real world application that are redefining the new possibility and how MCP enabling the integration for AI. So before jumping this session, let me introduce myself. My name is Rajneesh Kumar. I am the CTO of Vantage Technology. I have more than 25-year experience in IT, and I am the Mules of Ambassador as well as AI advocate and influence award winner. So you can connect me on my LinkedIn or Twitter is given with my uh, introduction. So let's jump on the fundamental understanding of MCP. So what is MCP, Model Context Protocol? So MCP is an open protocol that standardizes how application provide context to the large language model. To understand this one, uh, let me show you like it is a kind of USB port for AI application. If you notice is this is USB port. You can just like a USB port provide the standardized way to connect to the any of your device, like whether it is a USB any cable or hard drive or mouse or any of those you can connect through the USB interfaces. Same thing is MCP provide for the AI model. Uh, it it provide the standardized way to connect to the AI model with the different database or data sources. MCP able you to build agent and complex workflow on top of the LLM and your model with the world. So you can communicate with the real world through the MCP. It provide the one kind of interface so that you can communicate through that interface through for your LLM. So that is how it look like. So this is how it is look like for your MCP for AI application is. So one more thing is let understand is why it is written is provide the context. What does it mean? The context over here is. So basically, context is whenever you are writing any prompt on of AI side, you you are asking one question without any information, then your AI don't know what I need to do with this question is. Suppose that I'm prompting one of the question is, what is my order status? If you notice is it is I'm just prompting to the what is my order status. There is no context over here is, and now my LLM get confused is what I need to do. The next step is, so immediately prompt asks for the more context, and now it asks uh, what website you are talking about, where I need to get this order, so that I can give the order status. That give the your context. They're looking for the context over here is, and as soon as you give the context, then it will give the relevant answer to your system to you, so that you can work on the data that your response is. So that's why is context is very important whenever you are working with the LLM side. Or on top of that, once you give the information, this is my website and this is my order number, and then it will provide the order status. So now any question you will ask, your LLM has a context, and then you can get the correct answer or relevant answer for your prompt is. That's why is whenever you are working on the LLM side, always provide the context so that LLM can work based on those logic or based on your context is. So that's why is uh, your context is very important for the any of LLM integration. So that's why is written over is model context protocol. So before MCP, how your integration look like is. So let's see is how if you notice is whenever before MCP model context protocol, we were communicating directly with directly with LLM Suppose that these are the application, I'm directly calling to the LLM and getting an answer from the LLM without any standardize. This application calling their own way and this application calling their own way. So they every application their own standard way. It's very hard to work on that kind of environment. So basically, this picture explains the MCP architect and capability, how to solve the inherent challenge of AI integration, and how you can begin using it, build better AI app that go beyond isolate chat or AI application or any AI interfaces. So once you implement the after MCP, so if you notice is over here, this is MCP I implemented. Now you are standardizing this communication, so that any of your chat or any of your application is communicating to LLM, it is going to the MCP, and then over here it standardize your request and response at this point, and then you are sending this response to the MCP, to the LLM, and then from there you're getting a response LLM with the proper context is. So MCP provide the context as well as a standardized way of a request and responses, and then you are working on the AI application without any unknown or any unique thing. So that's why it's very important whenever you are integrating with the AI side, it's always the best practices to use MCP, so that you can standardize within your organization. So let's understand is what is the key participant in the MCP architect is. So what is the architect for MCP? How it is working behind the scene is. So there is a three component basically. First component is MCP host. So MCP host where your AI application is hosted, that coordinate and manage one or multiple MCP client. So there you are is that called the host. So suppose that you are working on the Visual Studio and that hosting your application. So it means his host is your Visual Studio. And that Visual Studio code establish a connection to the MCP server. So host is over here is a MCP Studio. Second part is MCP client. MCP client, where you are writing a code so that you can communicate with the server, a component that maintain connection to MCP server and obtain the context from an MCP server for the MCP host to use. There the client is. So Visual Code running instantiation that MCP client object that maintain the connection to the your MCP server, which is in this scenario Sentry MCP server. And then MCP server is a program that provides the context to the MCP client. Now here is again it came to the context is just I explain is what is context is. So now server is holding your whole conversation context, so that next time whenever you are prompting to the LLM, your server know what in what context you are talking or what context you are asking a question to the LLM is. So that's how it works the MCP side. So so in this scenario, as soon as hosting your code running as a client, and then talking to the server code instantiating the your server, and then getting a response from the LLM, is that's how it is working. So let's look into the more detail of this architect is. Suppose that this is a user and he want to get the some response from your LLM with the external data. So how to look like? So as soon as you're prompting what is the weather? So it is directly you are asking a question to your LLM. Your then your LLM is recognizing need of external data. Here is your LLM recognize I need some extra data so that I can get the more information for the user. Then what happen is it request for the MCP call for client. If you notice is here is each question they're asking for the different client, and then requesting for MCP client. So here one question, so it is going to the this call first question going to the MCP client first. If you are doing the second prompt like what is a road condition, then it will go to the second client. Similarly, if I ask three questions, it will go to the third client. So here is wrong representation, or is a client one, but it's a client three. So but as soon as and then this whole whoever providing this whole platform, that is called the MCP host in AI application side is. Now each MCP client start to communicating with the individual server. So one client one calling to the server one, and then client two calling to server two, and client three calling to the server three. So is this communication is always a one to one communication. Is not like a one client calling to the multiple server. Is not like that. Is always be one to one connection. So that this question context is holding this server, and then based on that one, it getting a response from your external system, and then getting a response and then sending to the your user based on the your request is. This is how it look like, and whole flow is as soon as you're prompting and how it is communicating and where the data is getting from. So if you understand how the architect is, so basically this architect is a two different layer is. First layer is data layer. It defines the JSON kind of thing. Data layer, the data is implemented as a JSON RPC 2.0 based exchange protocol that define the message structure as and semantic. This layer include the layer include the so this is a data layer. So second part is transport layer. So transport layer basically is it provides a seamless secure data exchange. um, The transport layer manages the communication and authentication between the client and server. It has it handle the connection establishment, message framing, and secure communication between the MCP participant. MCP support multiple transport mechanism. So let's look into the what kind of data layer we have. So first is data layer is it include the life cycle management. What is the life cycle management is handle the connection initialization, capability negotiation, and connection termination between the client and server. That is a data layer, it take care. Second is server feature. Enable server to provide the core functionality, include the tool of AI action resources for context data, and prompt for the interaction template from the data to the client is. Third one is client feature. It's basically enable the server to ask the client to sample from the host LLM, uh, elicit input from the user, and log message to the client. That's a client feature is. And then last one is utility feature is it support additional capability like notification for real time update progress for the long running operation. So that's which provide. Let's jump on the what different transportation layer is. So transportation layer is basically is a studio transportation. So a studio transportation basically is use a standard output stream for direct process communication between the local process on same machine, provided optimal performance with no network overhead. That transport studio transport provide. Second is a streamable HTTP transport. Basically, there generally we use for any of external tool. Most of the time is like if you are communicating with HTTP or MuleSoft side is to use this transportation layer. Use the HTTP protocol, HTTP post for the client to server message with optimum server sent event streaming capability. This transport enable remote server communication and support the HTTP authentication method, include the broker token, API key, and custom header. There you can use this one for API call or API communication. This is if you are working, if you are coming to the API world, this layer is you are going to use for in the NCP side, and you are building a connector on top of that is that's this server provide. So this is all like a MCP and its architect layer. and how it is working behind the scene is. And based on this protocol, um, company or client, they are building their own connector for their application with the standard way of using API or any other connector. So this is what the whole architect for the MCP. So if you have any more question related with the MCP, feel free to contact us, or you can connect on the LinkedIn side too. You can also subscribe this channel. Feel free to ask any question. And thanks for joining for this session. Thank you very much. Thank you.